I would say one of the fatal flaws of the current administration is that they have a my way or the highway attitude. They're not in there to ask you what's going on. They show up and they tell you what they're going to do without the neighbor's consent or anything. They just kind of come in and say, this is what we're going to do from our centralized planning and what we think is best. And so I think a lot of people are kind of balking against that.
I want a government that I can rely on, that's honest, that actually cares about its citizens, that actually will go over and beyond.
I want a safe place to live. I want to stay here. Actually, my plans would be to leave.
People need to feel safe walking outside their house, downtown, anywhere after it gets dark.
Crime has always been an albatross around Rockford's neck. It's hard to get new businesses here. It affects the school system, and so I hope that Michael's leadership can hopefully tone down the crime in Rockford, because that seems to be the #1 problem right now.
I've seen a lot of changes over the past few months. When I first started running for mayor, that was greeted with skepticism. But I see a lot of people have swung over to my side and been supportive of me. And I've noticed that that is a phenomenon that I've encountered pretty much everywhere I go. For example, I went to a forum today deep in the west side of Rockford. And originally it seemed like when I arrived, there were a lot of mistaken and preconceived notions about what I stand for. Because I'm a Republican, the assumption was, that I didn't care about the west side and I don't want to invest there. And there was a lot of skeptical people there. But after I talked with them and made my presentations and talked with people one-on-one, it seemed like more and more people agreed with me and were on my side. So that's been great to see over the last few months. And it's been an incredible journey to go from our campaign kickoff in December all the way to now, after all the hard work, all the door-to-door work. So far we put out about 13,000 flyers on doors all across the city. We've got several thousand more to go, and I'll be talking about that a little bit later. But it's just been amazing, and my vision for Rockford is very simple, and I think that's what appeals to a lot of people. When I talk to people one-on-one, they tell me that all the things that we've been doing for the past 8 years are nice. The roundabouts and the river walks and things of that nature. It's great to have those amenities. But people come up to me and they say, Mike, I just want my street fixed. I'm tired of paying for all these repairs in my car because I drive home every day in a pothole-filled road that tears apart my vehicle. And other people say to me, Mike, I want to feel safe in my own home. I want to be able to go out at night. Earlier today, I invited a lady to come to this event who lives several blocks away. And she told me, she's like, I would love to come to your event, but I just don't want to walk through that area at night. I don't want to walk those 2 blocks to Memorial Hall. And that is an enormous problem. And that, to me, cuts to the core of really why Rockford has struggled to regain its foothold in the economy in Illinois. Because the crime, it prevents people from going out and doing the things that they love to do, going shopping, spending their money, going to bars, when they're too afraid to leave their homes. And doing things like removing 2,300 streetlights did not help the situation. And it's those kinds of things that led me to get involved in the race. It's been very difficult as a newcomer to gain a foothold into local politics. But some people have written very nice things, and I wanted to read to you something that was written today by Brandon Reed. It was a very long article, so I won't read the whole thing, but I'll just read the highlights of it. And it really speaks to me as being very honest. He says, Kleen is the clear choice for change. Now, the Rock River Times endorsed my opponent today, but the assistant editor, Brandon, has been really fighting for me this whole time, and I think his words are very telling. He says, Dear miserable Rockford, miserable in quotes, the time for change has come. The good old boys club that has ruled this city for decades has gotten us nowhere, except on a list of worsts. In the past decade, Poverty within the city of Rockford has more than doubled, while the unemployment rate has remained above 10% for the past 5 years. The violent crime rate is among the highest in the country. Crumbling roads continue to crisscross the city, and the high school dropout rate has led Rockford's public schools to become known as dropout factories. Corruption, cronyism, and greed have all contributed to the misery of Rockford, and those have been the main tenets upheld by the Good Old Boys Club. Kleen, 31, seems to be the people's candidate. He cares about people, not politics, and is educated, smart, humble, and capable. Born in Chicago and raised in the northwest suburb of Des Plaines, he has both a bachelor's degree in philosophy and a master's degree in history from Eastern Illinois University and a master's degree in education. You all knew that already. Kleen is mindful and respectful of others and seems to have the makings of a responsible leader. His idea of government putting needs before wants is truly refreshing after 8 years of beautification projects that, although possibly well-intentioned, have failed to revitalize the community. Kleen's call for a new police chief also seems prudent, as relations between the chief and the rank and file of the police union have clearly been fractured by the Morrissey administration. We absolutely need a united front against crime, and it would be good to start with a clean slate. And his idea of more police over more buildings makes sense. Kleen may lack experience, but let's not forget Morrissey had never held elected office prior to being elected mayor in 2005. Furthermore, political experience in this town is not always a good thing. Many in this community complain endlessly about how bad Rockford is, how nothing ever changes, and how they are sick of the Good Old Boys Club running everything. Well, Rockford, here's your chance to put your vote where your mouth is. Vote for real change April 9th. Vote for Michael Kleen. Kleen has integrity and class, and he will one day make us proud if we elect him our next mayor. And if you are one of those complainers and you choose to vote otherwise, for Good Old Boys, Morrissey, or Hughes, don't be surprised if you are still complaining about a lack of change when the next mayoral election rolls around in 2017. So pretty powerful words, and I appreciate it. Now, in my remaining time, I would like to talk to you about what you can do to get involved right now. There's less than a week to go until the election. There's a couple of just very simple things that you guys can do to get out the vote and help us win this election. We can win this election, and I believe it now, but it's going to take everybody to work hard to get all the Republicans you know to get out the vote. We have enough Republicans to win. They just need to show up on April 9th and cast their votes accordingly.